Today's Edison format deck profile, Perfect Circle. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we will be breaking down an Edison format Perfect Circle deck, which was a deck that gained a lot of notoriety in 2007 as one of the big decks of the era. So let's go ahead, dive on into that. But of course, before we do that, make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys will be always updated on more deck profiles. Alright guys, starting off the deck profile, we have the boy himself. We have our one copy of Elemental Hero Stratos. I know he's not really the biggest guy in the deck, but he is a very solid searcher. And not only that, we are playing Future Fusion, so we can go into Absolute Zero and Elemental Hero Gaia as well too. So we have our one copy of E-Hero Stratos, followed by one copy of Destiny Hero Plasma. With the amount that you're special summoning in this deck, it's actually pretty easy to get out Plasma. Not only that, you can suck up your opponent's monster, you can negate all their effects, and yeah, really shut them down. So Plasma is a pretty solid play in this deck, adding to our hero lineup. So we got one copy of him, and then we have our two copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. And with him, he's very solid to send off of Future Fusion as well too. So pretty good, pretty good. Moving on, we have three copies of Caius the Shadow Monarch, obviously one of the staples of Edison format. Then we have two copies of Ryza. I felt like if I was playing 3 and 3, it just felt a little too bricky. But we do have Treeborn Frog in here, so it's pretty solid to always have tribute fodder on the field, as long as we see that Future Fusion. So we got two copies of Ryza, followed by our three copies of Super Nimble Mega Hamster, starting off our little flippy package. So three copies of him, as well as three copies of Raikou that you're going to be searching off of him. So pretty solid right there, pretty solid. Moving on, we have our two copies of Dandelion, which you can send off of Future Fusion for Elemental Hero Gaia, and get some tokens in the, the little side effect there. Pretty solid, pretty solid. Next, we have our Card Trooper, help us mill a little bit quickly. And we also get a nice drawing effect once he is destroyed as well, so pretty solid. Next, we have two copies of Debris Dragon, followed by two copies of Mystic Tomato, followed by one copy of Sangan, and one copy of Plague Spreader Zombie. Next, we have our one copy of Armageddon Knight, followed by our one copy of Dark Arm Dragon, because he is the best dad of Edison format. Then we have, which I mentioned earlier, our Treeborn Frog that we'll be sending off of Future Fusion. So we always get that recursion of him being on the field, so we can always tribute him off for those monarchs. And of course, it's not an Edison deck. We don't have Gores in there, so we got one copy of Gores, the Emissary of Darkness, to round out our monsters in the deck. Now moving on to the spells, we have our one copy of Allure of Darkness, because we have so many darks in this deck. Followed by one copy of Scapegoat, and one copy of Book of Moon. Always give us a little more of a defensive play or offensive, and we can also get an extra use out of Mega Hamster or Raikou. Then we have our one copy of Heavy Storm to blow out our opponent's back row. One copy of Foolish Burial. Our one copy of MST. Our one copy of Brain Control, in case our opponent has something that we like. One copy of Future Fusion, which is the big card of the decks. It allows us to go into those hero fusions, which is always, always good. Then we have our one copy of Rhoda, so we can search out Armageddon Knight or Elemental Hero Stratos just a little bit quicker. Two copies of Pot of Avarice to give ourselves a little bit more of draw power. So pretty solid to round out the spells. Now the traps, you know, you can always switch around whatever you'd like to do in there. Personally for me, I like having Solemn Judgment because I like saying no to my opponent. And I also like having Trap Dust Shoot because it gives us solid hand knowledge. Because once you have that, pretty much you're going to win the game. I mean, it's a, I don't want to say it's practical guaranteed, but you definitely have the slight edge against your opponent when you know exactly what they're doing. So that rounds out the main deck. So moving on to the extra deck, we're going to have our Stardust Dragon, our Red Dragon Archfiend, we're going to have our Colossal Fighter, our Thought Ruler Archfiend, our Black Rose Dragon, our Iron Chain Dragon, our YuGiOh Guardian, Brionac, Catastor, Magical Android, Armory Arm, Blackwing Armor Master in case we do take our, you never know if our opponent's got a Gale on the field or not. And then we have our Absolute Zero, one of the big guys of the deck. Our Elemental Hero Gaia, another big guy of the deck. And then we have our Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for the Cyber Dragon that would be in our side deck if I ever really listed those. So there you have it, guys. That is Perfect Circle in Edison format. Sound off down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think this deck is still a viable deck in Edison format? It's one that you kind of see pop up every now and then. I would say realistically the more, I guess say consistent one would be Welidad. But Perfect Circle, people played it, people loved it, and they still want to play it going on into the later years from when it was meta. So I can't say I blame people for doing it. It was such a good deck in 2007. Who says that it can't play well in 2010 as well too? So you guys let me know down below what you guys think. Be sure to check out those links down below as well too. I don't know if you guys saw on the Instagram or not, I got a pretty slick Welidad playmat up right now on the Etsy store. So be sure to check that out. Use that TCG player link as well too if you're going to be buying any Edison format singles or any singles from any meta or format. We'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye and good night.